again? It's money, right? Mahoney?
Mahoney.
Okay.
But Mahoney's fine. Do not stress. I get a lot worse than that.
No worries. Okay, today I've got Tyler Mahoney with me. We connected because she's involved in the mining scene, and I've seen her post all over Instagram. As people know, I've done some mining myself. So as I follow the Prospector hashtag, she's popped up a few times. So welcome, Tyler. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
No worries. So you've got a lot going on. You don't just do mining. I was doing a little creeping on you. You've got some swimwear lines and some jewelry going on behind the scenes. You've got the Prospectors Club, which you do, where you teach prospecting tips and tricks of the trade. And you've been on the Discovery Channel's Gold Rush, Parker's Trail. So yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about some of the interesting things you've got going on today and see where we go. So thanks.
I'm excited to be here.
Why don't we start by just running through the fact that you're basically an entrepreneur at heart. Is that right? You've got all these things going on. And why don't you just talk to us a little bit about that and how you got into some of them?
Yeah, I guess I would definitely say that. I've known from a very young age that I didn't want to work for anyone else. So it's definitely been something I've been working on since I was about 17, I think. 18, I opened my first business, and that was the jewellery and the swimwear you were just talking about. And then, since then I've closed that to focus on prospecting and mining. But I also had an events company. I had a catering company. I've done quite a bit. So it's definitely something that I think's in my blood.
Is that what, do you keep switching from, so mining is like a very traditional hard labor, like out there, hot weather, hard work. And then you've got these like kind of artsy things going on the side, artsy business stuff. Is that because you're creative at heart?
Yeah, I definitely think I have two personalities. I love like prospecting and mining. That's what I've grown up in. So I've been doing that since I was like 8. I'm fourth generation. But then I think when I grew up a little bit, I hit a stage in my life where I was done with the red dirt. And I moved to Melbourne and started in the creative industry and kept at that for a while. But I'm back in the red dirt in the mining industry now, and I think I'll stay here for a while.
That's because it's in your blood, it sounds like. You just can't get away.
No, you just can't. When I moved out of home when I was like 18, Mum and Dad were like, "You'll be back." And I was like, absolutely will not be. And I'm back.
And here you are. Parents are
Here
always
I am.
right. Yeah. Why don't you walk me through some of the history of mining? Because, so, you know, you are a female, obviously, and getting into mining for a female is probably not the most usual track for someone to follow. So it's been in your family, and I guess that's how you got into it. But has it been weird being kind of a female breaking ground, as they say, in a traditionally male space?
Yeah, definitely. I was lucky that I was born into it, so I didn't have to crack into the industry. But it is definitely a male-dominated area, and it's something that I've struggled with since a young age, just trying to like get respect and make my own pathway. And I've always obviously been in my father's and mother's shadow, so like paving my way as like my own person in the mining industry has been interesting. But I find as I get a little bit older and I get a little bit more wisdom behind me, people tend to show me respect a little bit more these days, which is nice.
Once you've done it for a while and they know you're worth your grit. What about, you said your mom's been in it, so are you not the first female in the family doing it?
I'm actually the third. So my great grandfather was the first, and then his daughter, which is my grandmother, was the first female.
Yeah. And
then both my mother and father prospectors / miners, and then I'm the fourth generation. So I've had some great women role models in my life, which has definitely helped me.
That's awesome. When you're out there in the hot sun with the flies flying around, sticking in your eyes and in your ears and things like that, apart from those things, what do you hate the most about the day out there? Because I know mining as well, right? So my mining's a bit different. It's up in the hills with rivers and stuff. You're in the dry outback. What's the worst part of it? Because it's a love-hate relationship. I know that. So for you, what's kind of the worst?
Oh, I think, like you mentioned, obviously the flies and the heat make me go, why am I not sitting in an office right now? But probably the worst thing besides that would be, which you would definitely know, that there's no security. I don't have a certain amount, like my paycheck at the end of the week is different every week. There's no, I I don't get to say I'm earning this much this week. It really just depends on how much gold we're finding. So it's hard to plan for the future, and especially like plan for a house and cars and stuff like that, because I don't have any income security.
Yeah, no security. But, you know, like with me, that's actually part of why I love it, because that security is scary, to be honest. I had a podcast recently about this issue. So when you have some security where you know every week you're going to be getting a certain amount of money, that's like very safe and stable. And to me, sometimes a bit boring. And so maybe that's what we find in this. Like it's the allure of a payday, right? It's the allure of, if I go out there and get lucky, it can really pay off. Like, you know, 90% of the time.
No, that's so true. I say I hate it, but I could easily go and get a 9-to-5 job where I would have a secure income. So I think, like, you're right. Definitely that the excitement of I could be a millionaire by tomorrow definitely attracts me to this job.
But it's not necessarily even millionaire, is it? It's something like, it's just tomorrow is unexpected. Whereas in your 9-to-5, tomorrow's not unexpected. You can pre-predict how the full week will play out, and the next 5 years will play out. So I think that's part of it, right?
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've covered what you hate. What do you love about mining?
What do I love? God, I love being my own boss. So I just work with my family. Obviously, that comes with a lot of flexibility, and I get to really like determine my own future. And what you were saying before as well, I can definitely relate to. With a 9-to-5 job, it can, for me, be quite, I don't want to say boring, but yeah, knowing what's going to happen the day after tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and the day after tomorrow is a little bit depressing to me. So I really do like the excitement of it all.
Yeah, uncertainty has like an allure, and for me too. I can see we have similar minds. Actually, it's funny. But you know, like with mining and even just your own business, like you just said, you don't like having a boss. And part of that is the fact that, like I talked at the beginning, how you are, I think you're kind of creative. Well, you are, because you've got your swimmer line, your jewelry line, you tried an events coordination business, blah, 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 right? And that's what being an entrepreneur is. There's a creative streak in there. It's almost a bit artistic, and it sounds kind of fluffy, but it genuinely is. It's that not having a boss and being able to make your own decisions for the next week or year or whatever without somebody directing you. And I think that's part of what allures me, and it sounds like you. So.
Oh yeah, I 100% totally agree. Like I like being able to tell myself what I'm going to be doing next, and I like being able to make the decisions. And if all of a sudden I wake up one day and this is not for me anymore, I know that I'll be able to move on to the next thing. I'll be able to pivot and decide what I want to do next. Yeah,
yeah. Well, that actually, I wanted to talk to you about something in mining that I've found. Probably the biggest, most important trait and strength being a miner is being resourceful. Am I right?
Yeah.
So, I think that feeds right into that. You have to basically be the one to solve your own problems anytime, anywhere. You have to be the one to figure out where you're going to take this mining operation, or when something breaks down, how you're going to fix it. So talk to me about some of the things that you've done that have been, because I know in mining, there's always some story about you've been really resourceful, and it'll blow people's mind on some of the things you have to do. So do you have like top of your head?
Oh, wow. So many. Like every single day we wake up, there's something new that's gone wrong or something new that's happening that we have to try and fix. Like a good example is my parents are actually away on a prospecting trip at the moment. So at site, it's just me and my brother. And my dad is definitely the loader. He's definitely the best one on the loader. But at the moment, I've kind of had to step up. And anyway, the loader has been perfectly fine for like months on end now. And the day dad leaves, keep in mind, he's out of range. We can't contact them for about 2 weeks. I'm out of range, so I don't have any phone reception. And we get out there and I go to start the loader, and of course it doesn't turn on. So you go through the motions, like the battery and the fuel and all that stuff. And I just sat in the loader. I was like, I literally have no idea what to do right now. And I'm lucky that I've got some contacts in industry, but it was like an hour drive back into town, some phone calls, an hour back out there. And in the end, it was literally something so simple, but it's definitely in the mining industry, you have to be able to kind of do bush fixes, and we've had to do so many of them. And I'm sure if a real mechanic or a real auto sparky went and saw some of the work we've done to our machines, they'd be absolutely mortified.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to, because otherwise you get a day of no operation and you lose money, right? So you've got to come up with that weird fix. Like in PNG, in my mining, we use inner tubes all the time, like tire tubes. We fix everything with a tire tube. You know, people say duct tape, but a tire tube and duct tape, you can really fix almost anything. So
I love that. You would be able to have the best conversations with my dad. Normally when stuff like this is going on, I take a step backwards and let dad deal with all the crap. So I'm sure you and dad would get along like a house on fire. He would be able to sit there for hours on end and talk about all the bush fixes he does.
Oh yeah, like some of the, even the most recent inner tube fix was like we had the steering fell off of one of our Land Cruisers up in the middle of nowhere in the mountain, and
Perfect.
so normally a bolt holds these two pieces together so you can steer, and we had to wrap it together with an inner tube. I don't know how we made it, but we got the 3 hours down the mountain. So stuff like
That's
that.
amazing.
Right? But
yeah, exactly.
Doesn't it feel good when you go through the motions out there by yourself with the very little advice you might get from a phone call or something, and you make it work?
Oh, it's the best feeling. I remember when that same day we went back out there and it was a terminal. It was so simple, just a terminal had fallen off, and we fixed it up and I got in the loader and it turned on. I was like, best day of my life.
Like, I am awesome. Check me out, right? And then you look around, and no one's around to see your awesomeness. That's the other thing.
And then I get back into town and I call one of my mates. I was like, guys, guess what I've just done? And they're just like, Tyler, that I don't care. I don't know why you're so excited about this. No one else can relate to it.
Yeah, because also they didn't have that feeling of what was on the line that day, right? You're like, God, I just started today, and if I don't get this day's operations going, I'm going to lose some money today. So this is a big deal for when you're out there in the field. But yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then I've got to answer to Dad. I actually remember something similar happened the time before they went, and I just could not get it fixed. So I cracked the shits, went into town for the day. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to call Dad. And they had their sat phone on, and I remember calling him, and he was so angry. He was like, you didn't work all day. It didn't go down very well. And we got in an argument. I was like, well, hire an effing mechanic then instead of your daughter if like you want someone to be able to fix it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot on the line for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Let's step back a little bit. I just want to get back to maybe, because you're doing unique things. Not only are you mining, which is not a lot of people mine, but you're a female mining. So I just want to get back to that one more time, because there's a lot of girls out there doing roles nowadays that were traditionally male, and they're starting to make their ways in, and it's great. So maybe you have some advice, because you're right in there in the male world. Maybe you've got some advice for girls out there that are breaking into it or are in it and maybe dealing with some troubles. Do you have some advice just to help them along? From your
I totally agree. There's it's so amazing now to see what women are doing. And even at the school I used to go to, they do things like women in mining now. And there's definitely a push to get female roles filled in the mining industry, which I love. Probably some advice, like if I was speaking to a younger Tyler or someone else looking to crack into it, would be stay strong. Men, especially if they've been in industry for a while, are quite intimidating, and know your worth, know that you can hold your ground, and just stick at it. It's going to be hard. People are going to make you feel like shit. People are going to make you feel like you don't know what you're talking about, but you're there for a reason, and you just got to keep going.
Yeah. And before, you talked about getting that respect. So does that just come with time and competence?
Yeah, definitely. I noticed a big difference as well. Like when I filmed for Parker's Trail, and we went around to a lot of different mine sites, and a lot of the people we're visiting are men from the older generation, and we'd rock up to camp, and automatically, I don't want to generalize, but automatically Parker would have their respect. And for me, it took about a 10 to 20 minute conversation of me proving that I knew what I was talking about before I got the mutual level of respect there. And some days I just want to go, stuff it. I don't even want to have a conversation with them. But it feels really good once you do talk to them, and they do come around and see that.
Well, you've proved yourself, so it's earned respect. Whereas like in your example, Parker, he just gets it because he's a guy in the guy's industry. So he's automatically given like this level of respect. You have to earn it. So that's probably why it feels so much better. You fought for it.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. It's definitely earned respect. And like I was saying before, if I was talking to another female in my position, don't give up, keep trying to earn your respect, but also know your worth. And if they're not giving it to you, that's their loss at the end of the day. You don't need them in your life.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Great point. Let's move into filming Parker's Trail. That's awesome. That's really wild that you got into that. Just give me a rundown. So first of all, how did you get into it? Did they kind of scout you out because of the unique, cool stuff you're doing, or did you apply? Or?
It's a funny story, actually. I don't know if you've oh God. Okay, so my parents owned a gold shop in Kalgoorlie for 7 years where I worked. And through the gold shop, they were approached by a TV show called Aussie Gold Hunters. Okay. So I don't know if you've heard of that. It's basically like an Australian version of Gold Rush, but a little bit smaller. And so they did that for a couple of seasons. And this is when I was living in Melbourne doing my jewellery. And I got a phone call from one of the directors, and he basically said, like, oh, would you be interested in coming working with your parents and being on the show? And I was deep into the creative jewellery world in Melbourne and the party world and all the fun stuff you do when you're 20. So I said, I was like a bit hesitant, but I said, sure, I'll come back. And obviously, like, I am a prospector and I have been doing it for ages, but I was kind of trying to get out of it. And that really drew me back in. And from that show, one of the directors got pulled over to Gold Rush, and basically he gave me a phone call one day and said, we've got a role to fill and I don't really know any other young female prospectors. Would you be interested? And I said, sure. And I basically had a couple of phone calls, did a quick interview, and then they flew me over to Canada to meet Parker, and that was that.
Oh, you went to Canada?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really cool.
Sorry, I haven't actually seen the season that you're in yet. I've seen some clips, so I didn't know you went to Canada, because some of the clips I saw were you here in Australia.
Yes. But, so basically I had a phone call, and the director was like, Parker wants to meet you before he just pulls you onto his team, which I totally get because I could have been a nutcase for all he knew. So Parker flew me out to Canada, and it was in the middle of my summer, and it was literally like minus 15 degrees over there. So I died. But me and Parker got along like a house on fire. I got to see his mine site, which is very impressive. It's a lot bigger compared to what we do here. And I met Fred and Danny, and yeah, we just got along so well. And 2 weeks after that, they flew over to Australia and we began filming.
Yeah, awesome. Minus 15 is not that cold, by the way. That's like in a mild winter day.
Oh my God, I was like saying this when I was over there to Parker, because I'm like used to 40. Are you talking Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Celsius.
Okay, yeah. So minus 15 Celsius to me is like the worst day of my life. As cold as I can do is 18 degrees. 18 degrees, and I've got my puffer jacket on.
That's because you're from WA. You're too close to the equator. So when you went to Canada, did you were you in the Yukon?
So yeah, I flew into Vancouver, got to go to Whitehorse, which is up in the Yukon, and then Dawson, and then to Parker's mine site. So I got to do a lot of traveling when I was over there, which was cool. Yeah,
so I'm from just south of there. I'm from British Columbia.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm Canadian. So yeah.
I can tell.
So I know those winters quite well, and I'm surprised in the middle of winter you only had minus 15 up in the Yukon. You should have had like minus 30 or 40.
Okay, it wasn't the middle of winter. It was like October-ish.
Okay.
So like that's coming out of it, isn't it?
That's going into it. That's going into the winter.
Oh, of course. And then I actually went back to Canada in February, which was winter there. That's correct, isn't it? Yeah. And I went to like Vancouver Island, and I went back up to the Yukon and Alaska and stuff. And again, I nearly died of hypothermia. It was freezing.
Yeah. Some of the, it is cold. Like granted, minus 15 is cold, but it's not.
Thank you.
I'll give you that. Especially now being in Sydney, I'm used to the warmth. So even here, like right now, I think it's about 15 in Sydney, and I'm cold. I'll admit that. So
thank you. 15 degrees is cold.
Yeah, but when you're in Canada, it's a bit different because it's set up for it. So a lot of the houses here in Sydney or all over Australia, they're a bit drafty because no one's too concerned. So you do cool off. Whereas Canada, they're all airtight, they're insulated, central heating, blah blah blah. But
totally agree.
Yeah, working in northern Canada or even in Alaska or whatever, it's interesting because they can only do work some parts of the year when it's frozen. Otherwise, it's too muddy. It's interesting. Yeah. Did you know that before you went?
No, I had literally no idea. I really hadn't watched Gold Rush a lot. So when I went over there and Parker was talking about all these crazy like weather conditions they have to work with, I was quite taken back. Like in Australia, I don't want to say we can work year round, but like you can really work year round. It's just in the summer, it's absolutely horrific and I hate it, but you can still work. Whereas over there, they literally cannot work because they get frozen out. So it was really interesting to me to be able to see like different types of mining and different like difficulties that people face. And I got to go to Alaska as well, and I was in like up in Haines and stuff, and you would know no, but there's a mine around there like anyway, one of the mines up, it's like in the Arctic Circle.
Okay.
And they can only mine like I think like 5 or 6 months a year, which is crazy.
Yeah, and then it's daylight the entire time.
Yes.
You know
Oh
that?
my God. That was hard to adjust to as well. They were saying they literally like get an hour of darkness and that's about it.
Yeah. So you need blinds on your camp or your tent or wherever you're sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the filming process. Like, is it fun? It looks fun. It looks like behind the scenes. Are you having a blast the whole time?
Well, Parker's Trail, I had the best time ever, only because the crew and the cast, we all got along so well. Like we were together on the road for three months, I think it was. And we are in a tiny car and you are literally living on top of each other. You're working 12-hour days, you're eating together. Like it's pretty intense. So I can imagine if I was with people I didn't like, it would be horrific.
Right.
But I just like had the best time. We were all like best mates. We just laughed the whole time. And it was definitely hard. Like we were kind of all, well, I'd never met the boys before really. So we were strangers. So you learned pretty quickly what pisses each other off and how to avoid that and when to avoid each other. But other than that, the actual filming part of it, I really enjoy. I like to be able to share with the world mining because like, especially in my friendship group, no one really gets to see it. So when my friends got to watch the show, they were so like impressed by it. So that part of the filming I really love. Yeah,
that's a good point. Showing the world mining, because before I did mining, I did oil rigs, which is an equally difficult type of work. And I always say the people out there doing that type of work, forestry, mining, all of these difficult tasks out there, they need more respect and recognition because they are slogging it out there. And they're just kind of going like unsung heroes, providing all the resources to the world. So, yeah.
Oh, exactly. Even like me doing the trip, I'm where I mine. It's not too far from Kalgoorlie, which is it's a city. We've got all the resources you need. And on the trip, I got to meet people who were just in the absolute middle of nowhere. And so I even found a new respect for people like that because they are doing it hard out there. It's not easy work.
No, not at all. Not at all. That's interesting. I was curious. I was watching some of the clips of you filming here in Australia, and I had a general question about the filming. So Are you ever out there working away, doing your thing? You know, the cameras are around and stuff, and then you go and watch what they've put together. Is it more dramatic once they've edited it and put it together than it felt like at the time? Are you like, well, that didn't seem so extreme. On TV, it looks extreme.
That's a funny question. It is funny going back and watching it because obviously when it's happening, it's from your point of view. So something's happening in the moment, and then to go back and watch it and watch yourself is quite a strange thing. And to see your facial reactions and how you handle things is quite interesting. But I don't think I ever had a moment where I watched back and thought that wasn't that dramatic in the time. Obviously, like they add the music and they add all the like the drama and stuff. But if you look at the core issue and what's actually happened, I don't think I ever looked back and thought that wasn't that dramatic.
Okay, so I was mostly relating it to one I saw today. You're out in the outback, and I think you've got a metal detector, so you're finding a nugget, and there's like these close-up shots, and then like some moving, it looks like an action shot, and there's the music, like you said, in the background, and then you scoop one layer off, and a little different camera, you scoop another layer, so you're obviously getting closer, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be a big one, and I was just like, oh, is it that dramatic? But you know what? At the end of the clip, your hand's shaking, so you were genuinely excited. So maybe it is dramatic.
No, I get totally what you're saying. I can guarantee if it was just me in the bush, no cameras or anything, I don't think it would have been that dramatic. But they're trying to make a TV show at the end of the day.
And you totally understand, right? It's way more enjoyable to watch the story of it unfold. So
I agree.
That's cool. Do you have any more plans to do more filming with them, or is there anything in the works?
Well, obviously at the moment it's like super up in the air because of COVID. So I think at the moment everything's just on hold.
Do you
But
want to?
oh, definitely. Like the trail went so well. I don't have any complaints, and obviously it's aired over in Canada and the States and stuff, and it did so well. And from what I've heard, Discovery are really happy and they want to move forward with another one, hopefully. But there's nothing set in stone. Just yeah, the TV industry is always up in air. But I would jump at it if I had another chance. If they said the word, I'd be there for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. I saw some of because Parker went and with his crew went to PNG, and when I
Mm-hmm.
was
Yeah.
there, that's when when I was doing my mining, his show just got released. So it was kind of cool to see a lot of the PNG stuff going on that I was actually encountering on the daily basis. So that'd be cool if you could go over to PNG too for the next show.
Oh,
Maybe.
I would love that. That's so interesting that you were over there mining, because what I heard from them and I obviously spoke to Parker and Fred and Danny about it, and they say it is so intense over there. Like
Yeah.
it's just another world. Did you find that?
Oh yeah, it is
Yeah.
extreme. So
Mm.
So it is so mining. So I've done the oil rig type work, which is similar to gold mining in northern Canada. That's extreme because of the environment you're in. But PNG
Yep.
is extreme because of the environment you're in, which is like the jungle and mud and all that. But the people, that is insane.
Yeah.
And you think you're remote in Canada, but you're still in a first world country. So now
Yep.
you go to PNG and you're trying to do mining there, and then you go remote in PNG and you're in a third world country, and there's no law and order where we went. So it was intense. So yeah, some of the stuff that I saw in Parker's show, like I didn't
Yep.
want to belittle it or anything, but I was like, that, like, it's entertaining, it's good, but some of the
Mm-hmm.
stuff I was like, holy crap, like they did not even scratch the surface of how wild this country can get. So
I've heard some of the some of the stories the boys were telling me, and I don't know, maybe they just didn't get on camera, but it's like life or death situations. And the obviously, like, Australia's a first world country, and mining here, like you said, is a different type of extreme. But the boys said it was just, Australia was so easy compared to PNG. They just said that one of the hardest places they've been. Like they went to oh, you'd probably know it. It's one of the major gold mines over there, and the guards and stuff would literally shoot children that were running in, and yeah, just a complete different world.
yeah, I believe it. Life doesn't mean much over there. Like a human life
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
Yep.
But,
For sure.
yeah, lots of gold, but definitely difficult to get. So
That's so interesting. I want to talk to you more about that, but we can talk
we
after.
can
I want to.
do it another time.
Yeah, for sure.
But or after this or whatever. But I would say one of the more interesting parts of everything I went through there, which was hell on earth, is at the
Mm-hmm.
end we had this issue with landowners, as you do, and
Mm-hmm.
I had to get the military in to get our equipment out because they took it hostage. So
Oh my
yeah, check my
God.
Instagram and stuff. I've got a bunch of like clips showing some of this, but that's how wild it got. And that's just one of the stories, which I have many, as would the boys
Oh, I
from
bet you
Trail. So,
do.
yeah,
That's crazy.
I
Yeah, a
think,
lot of.
yeah.
Oh, you go. Sorry.
I think in Parker's Trail, like I said, they probably didn't show some of the more extreme things they encountered, probably on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. And like what you just said about human life doesn't mean much. They said the exact same thing, and you just have to be so careful. And like they obviously had guides and everything, but that's next level that you had to get the military in.
Military and police, and you don't just get them, you've got to pay for them. Like, it's not like
Oh,
here
I
you
bet.
call up the police. No, you've got to like pay for that, and it ain't cheap. So yeah,
Wow, crazy.
but yeah, so that's about me. This is about you. So let me get into one more or two more things here I want to cover. I love podcasts. That's why I'm doing this. I always have.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm mining, when I'm far away from home or whatever, I just put on my podcast all the time. So do you have a podcast that you have a favorite that you like?
Oh, I love podcasts too, yeah, especially like when I'm in the loader or like in the excavator and just out bush. But I'm big into like true crime,
Yeah, me too.
loving true crime.
You listen to Crime
Love.
Junkie?
Yes,
Yeah, nice.
yes,
Nice.
love. And I love it as well. I don't know if this is weird, but I specifically try and find like Australian true crime.
Oh yeah.
So it's just that little bit more relatable. But I'm also big on like female entrepreneurs and yeah, things like that.
So name one for people to listen to.
Oh, who's my favorite? There's a girl, she's from Perth, which is in Western Australia, and her name's Jess Williams, and she started a swimwear label, and you can find her on Instagram, Jess Williams, and her podcasts are really cool. She interviews other young female entrepreneurs and gets like behind the scenes information, and yeah, I'm really liking that one at the moment.
Okay, Jess Williams, cool. One of the true crimes that just rang in the back of my head is, have you heard Teacher's Pet? That's an Aussie one.
Oh, I have heard of it, but I haven't listened.
Okay, you have to. You'll marathon it, I guarantee it.
Oh, is it Teacher's Pet?
Yeah, Teacher's Pet. It's so good. It's just, it takes place on the northern shores of Sydney here. And then the guy who was the suspect, he lived up in Queensland for a while. So it's all close to home. It's interesting.
Oh, I love that. Okay, that's next on my list.
Check it out. And then last thing before we sign off here, I just want to know why you'd stab your hand with a knife while cutting through an avocado.
Oh my God, I still got PTSD. So I'm, for the people who know me in real life, I am very clumsy and I don't pay attention to things that I'm doing. So I was cooking mushrooms. This is hard to explain because it's a podcast, but basically I was holding an avocado in my hand while cooking mushrooms, grabbed a steak knife, tried to get the pip out and just slammed it so hard through the avocado, and steak knife in one side, out the other.
She's got a picture on her Facebook of a knife going through the avocado and then a big pointy piece of skin sticking out the other side because it didn't actually pierce the second side of her hand. So it was pretty gruesome, but
No, that was so gross. But like the good thing was my body just went into shock, so I literally didn't even feel it.
Yeah, that's good. So then you can just have it for the laughs, for the lulls.
Exactly right.
Where can everyone find you if they want to follow you and see some of the swimwear you make or any of your gold prospecting adventures, or actually the Prospectors Club as well?
Yeah, so the Prospectors Club's on Instagram and Facebook, and then you can follow me on Instagram, which is Tyler Mahoney.
I'll link it.
Yeah.
I'll link it.
I've just forgot my own username.
No worries. I'll link it. And
cool.
the Prospectors Club, again, we should probably have another podcast because this has been great. And we can run through the Prospectors Club and all the good stuff you're doing there and run through some more issues.
I would love that. Let's do it. Let's lock that in.
We'll get your dad in. We can talk shop.
Oh, God. If you want it to go for 3 hours, we'll get him in.
Yeah, we'll just keep him away from the VBs.
Yeah, all the bush chooks.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thanks for doing this with me today. It's been fun. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed it.
All right, great. Well, we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye-bye.